The global agenda is once again entangled in a fierce rivalry over the Panama Canal. This strategic waterway, which connects the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, is not just a vital passage for commercial vessels, but has also become a focal point for the political ambitions of major world powers. In particular, China's growing port investments in the region and U.S. President Donald Trump's assertion of reclaiming control over the canal have brought long-simmering tensions in Latin America to the surface. My administration will be reclaiming the Panama Canal, and we've already begun the process, Trump declared, signaling Washington's renewed interest in asserting its influence. Meanwhile, Panama finds itself at a crossroads, carefully weighing its alliances amid the economic pressures from the United States and China's expansive infrastructure projects. But why is China so unsettled by what Trump has termed Panama's victory? How does this impact the presence of Hong Kong-based companies in the region? And what measures is Beijing taking to counter Trump and safeguard its strategic foothold? Could the sale of shares in the Chinese company operating the canal to U.S. investors truly disrupt Beijing's long-term plans? Furthermore, is Panama genuinely distancing itself from China by withdrawing from the Belt and Road Initiative? Or is this merely a diplomatic maneuver to align more closely with Washington? Panama's president has firmly stated that the canal is Panamanian, and it always will be. However, the question remains, can the country maintain its sovereignty without being overshadowed by the competing interests of these two global superpowers? China's strategic expansion in Panama. In recent years, China has significantly expanded its economic footprint in Panama, strengthening its influence in the region. A key turning point came with Hong Kong-based Hutchison Holdings' acquisition of operational rights over ports at both ends of the Panama Canal. This move was seen not just as an economic investment, but as a strategic geopolitical maneuver, solidifying China's control over trade and logistics in the region. An even more decisive shift occurred in 2017 when Panama severed diplomatic ties with Taiwan, a relationship it had upheld for years, to officially recognize China. This diplomatic pivot led to Panama's entry into China's Belt and Road Initiative, a global infrastructure and trade project designed to expand Beijing's economic influence. For Washington, Panama's growing alignment with China was an alarming development, as it threatened the U.S.'s long-standing dominance in the region. In response, Trump vowed during his campaign and presidency to bring the Panama Canal back under American influence, condemning China's increasing presence as a direct challenge to U.S. national interests. Panama's withdrawal from the Belt and Road Initiative. A major shift in Panama's foreign policy occurred in February 2025 when the government announced its withdrawal from the Belt and Road Initiative. This decision marked a turning point in its relationship with China and had immediate repercussions. Shortly afterward, Hutchison Holdings agreed to sell its strategic port operations in the Panama Canal to a group of U.S. investors, led by asset management giant BlackRock, for a staggering $22.8 billion. President Trump, viewing this as a victory against Chinese influence in the Western Hemisphere, wasted no time in declaring, "My administration is taking back the Panama Canal, and we have already started the process." The announcement sent shockwaves through global markets. Hutchison stock in Hong Kong initially surged, but later fell by 8.5% amid concerns over China's reaction. Beijing swiftly condemned the deal, asserting that it had not authorized the sale and warning that it was designed to expand U.S. control over the canal. China's response and strategic countermeasures. Chinese policymakers had initially hoped to use Panama's ports as leverage in negotiations with the Trump administration. However, with the sale slipping out of their hands, Beijing was forced to reassess its approach. In response, a high-ranking Chinese delegation, led by Ma Hui from the Communist Party's International Department, visited Panama to reinforce diplomatic ties and explore counter-strategies. Meanwhile, Trump remained steadfast in his stance. The U.S. State Department issued a statement welcoming the investment, asserting that it would help reduce the problematic Chinese Communist Party presence in the Panama Canal zone. China's embassy in Panama reacted sharply, dismissing U.S. claims and reaffirming Beijing's commitment to Latin America. In a press conference, Chinese officials declared, "The countries of Latin America and the Caribbean seek independence and self-determination. They do not wish to be confined under the shadow of the Monroe Doctrine." Despite China's strong objections, reversing the deal is not a simple option. The assets being sold are located outside mainland China and Hong Kong, and the transaction has been structured to minimize regulatory hurdles. Both parties have expressed confidence that the deal will be finalized by April 2nd, pending necessary approvals. The geopolitical chessboard, Panama's balancing act. For Panama, caught between two global powers, the challenge lies in maintaining its sovereignty while leveraging economic opportunities from both sides. The country remains firm in asserting that the canal is Panamanian and will always remain so. However, as U.S.-China tensions intensify, Panama must carefully navigate its diplomatic and economic choices. While Washington seeks to reclaim its influence in the region, Panama also recognizes the economic benefits of maintaining trade and infrastructure partnerships with China. The future of Panama's foreign policy will likely be shaped by its ability to strike a delicate balance, strengthening ties with the U.S. while ensuring continued economic collaboration with China. In the broader context of Latin America, Panama's strategy reflects a regional trend. Nations striving to assert their independence while capitalizing on investment opportunities from both superpowers. The ultimate question remains: how long can Panama sustain this equilibrium before it is forced to choose a side? Thank you for tuning in.